Welcome back to Podcast The Hero. This episode is brought to you by Cornbot. As always, Cornbot sponsors every episode of this podcast. It's a robot. It's made of corn. I don't know how they make metal out of corn, but they did, and he's a robot. It's also brought to you by our patrons, Dave the Film Guy, Jake, Bob, Josh, in Steven Exposure, Progtoff, Cheddar Cheese, and the Mousetrap MySpace. Julia, Red FX, the Fat Brown Kid, Foolish Bale. I went barefoot at Fritzy's Fortress of Frigitude, and all I got was this dumb eat shit and go fuck yourself t-shirt. Brett Boss Blackwood, Yes I Be a Newfoundlander by Spitgoth, yo, absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress. Roadies, Road Raging Rodent. Sebastodon, the rat that used to live inside Fritzy's butthole but now lives inside Roadies because the rent is cheaper. I Swallow Cum. Source the Odd is a result of a spray fart. Come to New Brunswick. Rob the Antihuman, Peggy Thrill, Green Street. The manager at Anthony Kiedis' local Denny's. That's it. Now the list of patrons I want to kiss. Fee or Phi, a common thread. The Pink Dink who took a drink from the sink. Zane, Rhodey loves my dink, a 2 megabyte floppy dink, Deconomus, Frigdazy, Zach, the final Dan, KH Pandas, other Zach, that's Corn Man, Jeffrey, Mason Bailey, Terra Billie Jean, Yuri, Fruit, Ashwin, and High Tops. Oh, that's so many.
So many.
Right?
You are loved and appreciated.
47. 47 people support this directly with money. It's pretty good.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's sick. Shout out to those 47 people.
If it wasn't
the ones that I met when I was on the road.
If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have Malen scoring our funny little space cartoons. We wouldn't be able to afford it. We wouldn't have, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have HK designing our merch. Right? Like, we got some cool shit. Speaking of merch, we have a giveaway happening as we speak right now on Patreon. If you go to our Patreon and become a member, you could be a free member. It doesn't have to be a paid membership to participate in the giveaway. You'll find the t-shirt giveaway post on Patreon, and all you have to do to enter is comment about why somebody else, real, fictional, whatever, deserves the t-shirt more than you. And Rhodey and I will pick the least deserving person of the t-shirt to get the t-shirt. So hit the Patreon, patreon.com/podcastthehero, and enter to win. There's not a whole lot of entries, so enter now because your odds will be way higher. Sandra, welcome back.
Hi.
We've done now 2 weeks in a row. We've had early guests of this podcast come back to us. So you have spent the last, how many weeks? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? 6 weeks?
Almost,
how many weeks?
Almost a month. Like just over 3 weeks.
Ugh, it's too much time. It's too much time. Oh, I should say, Cheese is not here. Because Cheese is sick? Maybe?
He was on roller coasters.
He was on a roller coaster this afternoon.
The only thing
Don't know
sick
how
is
sick
he's
he
sick
is.
of life.
But he is not with us this week. But that's fine. We don't need him. You spent the last roughly a month on the road with Protest on the first half of this North American tour. It was lovely to see you in Detroit in person. So great. Thank you very much for the gifts. How did they convince you to do this? I assume that you had to pay them.
Yeah, it cost quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And my firstborn child has been offered as a sacrifice. But finally, after 15 years of knowing them, they graciously have allowed me to go on the road with them. And I am so thankful that they finally considered me to be as subhuman as they are to travel.
Sorry, I have to. every time I drink something, I have to wipe my mustache because I get stuff. I don't know how to drink with a mustache. I've had this mustache for years. I still don't know how to drink. So every tour that they've done since you guys met, they hired a direct competitor of yours to go on the road and do photographs and video and stuff with instead of you. And they let you know that they were.
They would email me
else,
to
right?
tell me that they weren't going to hire me. Yeah, it was rough.
How did that make you feel?
Unworthy, unloved, unappreciated.
Yeah.
Like I was the underdog.
Yeah.
And I guess finally now, after a large donation, I am worthy. Yeah.
Mountaintop. You are at the mountaintop. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get better than a month on the road with Protest the Hero.
No, it truly doesn't. It was.
The accommodations couldn't be more luxurious.
Oh, it was like five-star hotel-esque.
You went on. I'm sure you had the choice of, like, I'll just follow you guys in a rented car or SUV of some comfort where I can enjoy some modicum of cleanliness and stay with friends that I've made along the way, or hotels, youth hostels, something that would keep you from sleeping in a bunk on the bandwagon with the band. And you chose instead to sleep and travel on the bandwagon with a bunch of notoriously smelly men.
They were very smelly, but I assimilated quickly. I gave up deodorant on day one.
What did you do? So I know some of the stuff you did, but what did you do to make your space livable?
Oh, you do know.
Like your personal space, because I know you did some stuff. And everybody went, oh.
And then everyone copied me.
That's actually pretty smart. Why didn't we think of that?
Well, yeah, I brought my own pillow. I brought my own blanket. I brought a diffuser with essential oils because it gets dry as fuck on those buses and those bandwagons. But also, I was on the bottom bunk, and we were in the row that has the bunks are even tinier. Like I think HK's nose was touching the top of his bunk. It was bad. So I brought the diffuser for smells. I had shelves, so sometimes there's nets. We did not have a net, so I bought shelves, and I put up a photo of my niece, and immediately everyone was like, we must go to Target. I need to adorn my space with the things that you have.
Yeah, I got a text message during the day that you guys got into Detroit from Rhodey that says, hey, where can I buy a pillow in downtown Detroit? I was like, where are you? He's like, we're at the venue. I was like, there's nowhere to go. You can't just like walk around from St. Andrews Hall and find a place to buy a pillow. That's not a thing.
No, I looked for him, and I am a DoorDash queen. I have this tour is sponsored by DoorDash. If they want to just give us 20% off for the rest of our lives, that'd be super great.
Sure.
I tried to even DoorDash him a pillow, but downtown Detroit is a pillowless land.
Yeah. No, it is it's a, what do they call them? It's like a food desert. There's no grocery stores. There's no Targets.
Nothing.
There's no Walmarts. There's no nothing in downtown Detroit. No, nothing. Whose bunk was the yuckiest?
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. You're allowed to call people out on this podcast. They won't cry or be mad.
I'm going to say our lighting guy.
Oh, okay.
It was poor Jack. It was the only one who didn't give in to our luxuries. He was there was just empty tins of ravioli everywhere. Yeah, he barely used the blanket. I think he just slept on the mattress. That was the rough one. And then Hank and Cheese and HK and I had the luxury bunks. And Jonah creates a luxury bunk too. He brought his own like mattress topper.
What?
Yeah, he brings a shelf for the bottom of his bunk so that he can store shit and put his feet underneath but still store shit there. Whereas I can curl up into a tiny squirrel
Yeah.
like space
Yeah.
and pack all my shit there. So I say that I was the one who had the best bunk, but Jonah may have topped me with his mattress topper and his shelf.
Jonah is. Jonah works real fucking
He
hard
does.
on the road. He really fucking does. Rhodey once offered me a spot on the bandwagon during Halloween is for Always. He was like, "You can ride with us for like a few stops. There's a bunk if you want. Like, you could ride with us for as far as you want to go." And I was like, "I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I would be comfortable." I'm a big dude.
Yeah, I don't know if you could fit in them. Like logistically,
Right?
you would
Like,
have to lie on the floor where everyone leaves their shoes instead of using the drawers we
yeah,
have. So it would have
yeah,
been you and shoes.
yeah. I would just pile all the shoes and then sleep on the shoes, a mattress of
It would probably
shoes,
keep you safer.
probably. So one of the things Rhodey mentioned during the Halloween is for Always tour is that when you ride on a bandwagon, you spend most of your sleeping hours in the air.
Yes, you do.
So how is that?
Uh,
What's that like?
I definitely felt weightless at times. It is hard to get a good sleep when you're just floating. People think that if you had the ability to float, it's a luxury. It'd be comfortable. The air will protect you. However, what goes up must come down.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that going on. There was one night I texted our dear sweet driver and asked if we were just driving over a barren land with no roads, if we were just on a dirt road. It made no sense to why we were, because it's essentially a glorified delivery van
Right. Yeah.
with a shower and bunks, and
Yeah.
we are the deliverables.
Yeah.
There's
You're just boxes.
there's no, I don't even think there's like what is it, shocks. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I did spend a whole month just sleeping mid-air. So I haven't slept since July. Um,
That's fine.
yeah,
Who needs
no,
sleep?
it's overrated.
Yeah.
Just survive on espresso martinis. We're good.
Yeah, there you go. The what you were at every show. You were basically right up front, right?
Yes.
You had to be to do your job.
Fitting to be in the pit.
Did you did you see a lot of wild shit?
Yeah, like one guy pissed himself in the front row. No, he did. I'm sure someone has pissed themselves in the front.
Rhodey did.
It was Rhodey.
It was
I gave it
Rhodey.
away. I'm so
It was
sorry.
Rhodey.
The honest to goodness, the protest front row are wonderful. They are just, they were
Yeah.
great. I did not, except for Newfoundland night 2. My
Ooh.
homies were rough. I
Yeah.
had my nose split open. I had bruises on me. That was probably the worst one, was Newfoundland night 2. Other than that, like, they're wild. They're crazy. It's really fun to be in the middle of it. There's a lot of times we don't have a barricade. I'm in
Yeah.
the pit, and I found like after they did Mist, because Mist was always for
Yeah.
me. It was like I was Moses and they were the ocean, and they just accepted that I needed to come through. So it didn't get too wild. Besides, Cheese pissing himself a little and splitting my nose
Yeah.
open in Newfoundland. But
Did you see Cheese wearing overalls?
yeah, I believe I was the inspiration for that. Nico from the 68 and I were rocking some really cool overalls. I had shorteralls, excellent workout fit.
Yeah.
Nico had overalls. And they're very breathable. There's pockets for things.
Yeah.
You could feel like you can get work done. So I feel like we were the inspiration, and Cheese doesn't like people to be cooler than him. So he immediately said that everybody in the band must buy these overalls and wear them. So he became a train conductor, and he also bought a nice pair of black ones. So I think on the tour coming up, that's the uniform, is everyone must wear these overalls.
He needs shorteralls.
I think I offered him mine.
Because honestly, like seeing him in long pants is real weird.
I wanted him to cut
Like,
them off. Like,
yeah.
give me some hoochie daddy shorter rolls.
Yeah, there you go.
You know?
That's, yeah. I got to see those thighs.
Yeah, show them off. Why tattoo
Show
your
'em
thighs
off.
if you're not gonna like
Right.
put them in people's faces while they're in your front row?
Right? Did you get any Hank hugs?
I got so many Hank hugs.
Aren't they really great?
Hank's my favorite. I drag
Hank gives the best hugs.
Hank was my tour girlfriend.
Yeah.
Outside of Woj and me and Woj's photo adventure, Hank was my tour girlfriend. He was my like confidant. He was my like shoulder to lean on. Even when he's playing and I'm on stage with the camera, he's still like, "Hi, are we here?"
It's the
I knew
sweetest.
it. He's told me right from day one. He's like, "You and Hank, you're gonna get along. You guys, two potatoes. Let's go." And we did. I just dragged Hank back into the city. We went to go see Jada Kelly play at the Cameron
Yes.
House and had
That is
another little night.
wonderful. How
Yeah.
was that show?
It was beautiful. Her voice is incredible. The first time I saw her was in LA. And I just was like, oh my God, it's the voice of Keziah. Like,
Right?
It's you. I was like meeting like a celebrity at this point. I was like, here are all the things. And then I told her about all the things that I've made the boys do because I made them do adventures. And I adored her. So we went to go see her at the Cameron House and she stole our little hearts away.
She's wonderful. I was a little starstruck when she was on the pod. I'm a big fan, and her voice is fantastic. And she's like, there's something about people who are willing to do things in genres that they don't necessarily like isn't their thing necessarily, right? And it just is so perfect in that. And then you listen to like her music and it's like, couldn't be more different from Protest. But it's like, there's something about somebody who's like, oh yeah, I'll do this thing with my friends. And like, I don't know. She's great. On the last episode, you told us that the Flatliners are better than Protest because of Paris.
Yeah.
Now that you have spent a month on the road with Protest and they took you to like Denver, are they now like fighting it out?
Yeah,
Is it almost
it's getting
close,
pretty close,
or
but the Flats still win. Paris was,
Yeah.
I mean, I was in such magical places like Roseville, California, and Columbus, where I went tits over tail. Like I have these core memories. I always say that Columbus is the Paris of America. So I feel like that. I feel like they were trying to get to the same level. So they're getting there. They're getting there.
Columbus is the worst city in the northern half of the United States. It is the most garbage dump place you could ever go to. It's like Ohio is the worst state in America, and then the big city in the middle of the worst state is the worst. It's just, it's a garbage place full of garbage people. I'm sorry for all the fans from Columbus that were at the Columbus show, and I'm sure you had fun, but God, leave there as soon as humanly possible. It is terrible, horrible.
The city took me out. You warned me. You sent me in with a warning that the city will try to kill you.
Yeah.
And it did.
Yeah, it's awful. It's
I survived.
terrible. You guys, now, you flooded my Instagram feed with photographs. Not you personally, but like every post from every member of Protest the Hero, from the Protest the Hero account, is just front row lady on every friggin' thing, right? And I had a lot of nights where I just sat and cried because I was missing out on so much fun stuff that I wanted to be a part of. And I think you should apologize to me for making me so sad. And especially after the Detroit show, I got real hyped about going to Newfoundland.
I wanted you to so bad.
I was like really excited, and I was like, I'm going to make this happen. And then I went home and I went to see what it was going to take to make it happen. And it cost $1 billion to get from Detroit.
You could have walked. By the time you left Detroit that day, you could have made it. You didn't.
I could have been there. I looked at like, how long would it take me to drive? And it was like,
Nothing.
40 hours.
That's less than 2 days.
Nothing.
You weren't
That's
dedicated enough.
a week.
I will not apologize for these photos because you did not have the dedication
Okay,
to get in your car and just leave and drive. You could have been there. We even gave you no. You didn't do the screech. No, Hank didn't do the screech. You did do the screech. You did do the screech.
I did.
Okay. I take it back.
I did. But
no.
It doesn't count. No, it doesn't count. I need to get there. I was promised that that it would not be the last time, that there would be additional opportunities to go see protests.
We're working on it extra hard. We can't. It was 9 years since they were there last. They wrote a love song.
Yeah.
And then fucked right off. Like, they love bombed us.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's narcissistic behavior.
Yeah.
They love bombed us and then never came back. That's fucked.
Yeah. Pretty much. They were like, hey, we really like this place. You guys are real awesome. We love the people. We love everything about this place. We're going to write a song about it. We're going to shoot this epic video about it. We're going to do all this stuff and then never come back. Did Rhodey go visit your nan?
No, she's dead now. He missed his opportunity. Yeah. Rhodey still hates her to this day. He wouldn't go to her grave. I'm sure if he went there, he'd piss on it.
That makes me real sad.
I have another one, though. He can go visit her. She's not going to put the tea out. She's probably going to tell him to take off his friggin' shoes. But
you can't take off your shoes. I made that mistake. I took off my shoes at Rhodey's house.
Canadians do. We're cleanly.
But
people.
I wasn't wearing socks.
Why? You should have a spare pair of socks.
I forgot. I totally just forgot. Like, I was in the car on the way, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not wearing socks. I'm going to go in his house, and I'm going to take my shoes off, and I'm going to be barefoot in his house. This is real weird.
Would be everywhere.
Yeah. It's gross.
It's awkward.
It was real bad.
Did you
And then
mop?
we shot the podcast, and, like, my bare feet just, like, in the camera. It was real gross.
I don't like that. Somebody likes that, awkward. But I don't like that.
I'm real awkward. Real awkward guy. I have a question about Newfoundlanders. Yes. Who do you guys follow in hockey?
Oh, it's literally, I think there's a lot of split. It's definitely the Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. But I do see a lot of Boston.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it like... Bruins fan. Ugh. That's real gross. Yeah, I thought maybe Habs.
Yeah. Right? That's what I grew up on. Like, that's what my family was.
You were Habs fans.
I don't know why. It's like, we only drink Diet Pepsi. We don't drink Coke in Newfoundland, so I don't.
You don't drink Coke in Newfoundland?
It exists, but no one's going to drink it.
Why not?
Because we have a Pepsi factory. We don't have a Coke factory.
Oh, you have a Pepsi factory?
That's what we do. Browning Harvey, baby. I would go there for field trips, and we would leave
with free Pepsis.
With free Pepsis.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a Diet Pepsi guy. My wife is a Diet Coke person.
I got to teach her the ways. No, it's Diet Pepsi or get out.
Yeah, Diet Coke is gross. Diet Pepsi. I make my own also at home with one of these, and I have like the Diet Pepsi, like. You know, like the syrup stuff you pour in, and I drink a lot.
I can tell where it's made. Like, I can, in Canada, tell when we were in Newfoundland and the Browning Harvey Diet Pepsi factory went on strike and they brought in the Montreal Diet Pepsis, I could tell the difference. I can tell.
That's weird.
I'm weird.
I generally say that there is no discernible difference between any cola. It's all cola flavored.
I'll fight you on that for sure. I can tell. You give me 3 cans from 3 different bottling factories, and I will tell you that they're different, and I'll tell you how.
You'll tell me how, like what it is. Like this one has slightly less aspartame.
The water. It's the like.
Aspartame is so good. It's what makes it. Like Diet Pepsi versus like the whatever Pepsi Zero or Pepsi whatever they call it.
No, we don't want it Pepsi Max or no.
Yeah, no. It tastes totally different. The aspartame is what makes it, and that stuff is the best kind of poison. You were coordinating some other thing while you were on this tour.
Yes.
What were you doing?
I was running social media and a media team for a massive festival in Newfoundland called Churchill Park Music Festival. We had Shania Twain, Nickelback, the Arkells, which I know Rhodey is a big fan of.
Rhodey loves the Arkells.
Yeah, I think we were talking about getting Arkells tattoos. I don't know. I'll call Max. I'll get him to like handwrite something from like a lyric, like 1111 or something. Like, I think that's the move. So I was coordinating that while I was on the road, which was great while I was in California. But then the closer I got to East Coast, things were happening at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
So I will 100% shout out that team. Caitlin Forward, Jeremy, Ryan, like they slayed it for me. I don't know how I did it. I didn't sleep. I would wake up really early every morning because they're in Newfoundland and they're like 5.5 hours ahead of me. So they're on site and it's like 8 a.m. in California. So it was really hard. It was really cool. It's a unique thing that Newfoundland's bring to have these massive acts come through. Like we all love Nickelback now. They're cool again. So
are they?
Yeah, you didn't get the memo? Bro.
No.
They're cool again.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. I'll stop making fun of them.
I really want you to.
I do almost every single day.
It's a sin.
I shouldn't
what
do it.
What did Chad Kroeger do to you?
I don't know. Is that a Nickelback?
He is a Nickelback. He is the Nickelback.
Okay.
I can't name anybody else in the band. He is Nickelback.
Okay. He should just call it the Chad Kroeger Band.
I think he did have a Chad Kroeger moment. He went solo. Spider-Man 2002, the song Hero.
That's a Chad Kroeger solo?
Yeah. Now you're impressed.
Didn't know that.
You're welcome.
Why did you do both things? Just because you could?
I was supposed to be at the festival on site running it. And then I put in my offer to buy myself into the protest tour, and it was accepted. So I figured if I'm going to lose money, it's just about to lose money and look at mountains. So I didn't I'm not the kind of girly to screw anyone over. So I was like, I'll still run point on this team. I'll hire someone to be me, and I'll do it from the road.
Look at you. I can't do... I wouldn't even be able to. My brain would just. Bleh. I can't do two things at once.
There were points where my brain did go bleh, which is when I'm taking photos, I feel like I'm fine. Like when the show would start, I was good to go. But I would always keep thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, did I post this? Did I do this? And again, with that team, I would just be like, hey, we're about to do this. I need you to do this, and delegate it off, which was really cool. And it was my first time running anything of that caliber. I think there was like 15,000 people at this festival. And it was like 3 nights of Shania. 3 nights of Shania.
3 nights?
I turned down Shania Twain. I could have been hanging out with Shania. Yeah. We could have been having like espresso martinis in the back. Could have been holding her dog.
Yeah, instead you were sitting like in Walmart parking lots making s'mores.
And you know what? They were great s'mores.
I don't know.
We had these little horse cocks that the guys were eating.
Wait, what?
I was making...
Back that up. What were they eating?
Well, one day, Rhodey and I decided we were going to go pickling.
Okay.
We were in Montana, so we were like, let's go pickling. So we decided to pickle some like little wieners, like horse cocks, like teeny, thick little wieners.
That's what you call them, horse cocks?
That's what they were calling them. That's what I called them. So we just kept being like, throw the horse cocks on the fire.
Oh my God.
So we pickled everything, and then Rhodey and I may have had a cocktail or two, and decided at that point we were going to go buy a barbecue. Side note: earlier in the day, me and HK and Rhodey were in Walmart because this is where we live on the road.
Yep.
There's a washroom. Let's go. And I was like, we should get a barbecue. Family fun event. Let's get a barbecue. And they're like, we don't need a barbecue. That barbecue was MVP. That and a bucket that HK bought, the 2 MVPs of the tour. Like
a bucket?
A bucket. It was a 10-gallon bucket, and it literally it was a lifesaver. I was gonna say Sove, but that's a Newfie thing. Then everyone would be like, "What the fuck? This girl can't talk." It it's new. It Sove our life. It's saved. I don't know how to
Yeah.
say it without being goofy right
Yes.
now.
No, that's
Uh,
right.
it's Sove our life. We use it as a seat. We used it when I busted my knee on the scooter in the Paris of
Yeah.
America. Uh, HK used it to practice on. We use it for storage. It was that bucket. It was like, I don't know, Home Depot. I think that's where they got it, or like a
Yeah. There's an
Rumble.
orange one, right?
Yeah,
I got a bunch of them in my
it
garage.
was
They're
brilliant. They actually
yeah.
paid him to take the bucket away.
They did?
Yeah, they're like, hey, it's a $5 bucket, but if you buy it, we'll give you X percentage off your purchase.
Order.
And
Yeah.
he was buying a giant fan, and in the end, I think he made $3 on this bucket, and we kept it. When we cleaned out the bandwagon, we're like, this bucket
Yeah.
is coming with us. This is gonna be a thing.
Yeah. They're great. Like I usually will grab one if I'm going to Home Depot and I'm buying a bunch of shit. I'll just grab a bucket and use it like a basket.
Yeah.
Fill up all the shit that I need in the bucket,
Mm-hmm.
and then just take the whole thing home with me.
Yeah, and that's
It's good.
it's in storage
They're
right
good.
now. It's like the MVP. We were putting all the
Yeah.
things we needed, and the bucket remains. So thanks so much.
I'm obsessed with Zillow. Do you guys have use Zillow in
Yeah, I'm
Canada?
aware. I know of it.
Okay, so for people who don't know, Zillow is like a real estate app, right? It's for like looking at houses to buy or places to rent or whatever. And whenever there's a new place that comes in, I'm like, I wonder what like the houses are like there. And it's really strange because like Detroit and Ontario are very close to each other, like Windsor, Amherstburg, right? Like they're just like right on the other side of the river from each other. But the houses could not be more different, right? Just like the architectural styles, like all the houses in Canada for some reason have pools. Nobody here has a pool. Like, and so when I was looking at trying to visit Newfoundland, I was like, oh, I wonder what the real estate's like in Newfoundland. Now, there is a major housing crisis in Canada right now, mostly in Ontario, because that's where like 95% of Canadians live is in Ontario. But property in Newfoundland is extremely
Very
affordable.
much so.
It's why aren't people flocking there?
It's hard to live there. You can
Why?
you
Is the internet bad? Do you not have good internet?
the internet is great if you pay for it. It's a hard winter. Like a lot of our supplies comes on the boats, and if there's ice and the boat can't get over, our groceries are on trucks, so the groceries aren't coming over, and it costs a lot of money to heat. Like there's a huge problem with like the cost of heating. I think the story goes we sold all of our electricity to Quebec, and now we buy it back from Quebec.
Oh,
So then we were instead of us using our own hydropower, we
yeah.
have to buy it back. So I remember when I lived there, like my lighting, my hydro bill was 500-600 a month in the winter, if not more, on top of my rent. And when we moved here, everything was kind of included and it was a bit cheaper, but you get more bang for your buck. Now, the Newfoundlanders that are listening to this are like, housing is insane in Newfoundland right now. But you can still buy a nice house and have some land and like be near the water and do some things. Whereas
Yeah.
here, for $2 million, you get to live in someone's parking lot.
Yeah.
Tents not included.
Yeah. Yeah. It's rough in Ontario. I've favorited several homes in Newfoundland, and I've had this sort of escape plan for when America goes the way of authoritarian dictatorship to escape to Canada. And I was looking at like, okay, I'll just move across the river, right, into Windsor or the suburbs, whatever, be close enough to like my in-laws and whatever that we could visit if we had to. But now I just want to move to Newfoundland. Like, it's so much prettier, and you can get a nice house, and you can look at the ocean, and like, I would like to move to there.
Do you like cold?
I don't hate it. I don't go outside, so what
It's
do I care?
wet.
I
And the
I'm
wet is
from
in
the
your
Pacific
bones?
Northwest.
It's in your bones?
I'm from the Pacific Northwest,
It's
so
like foggy. There's hurricanes. There's hurricanes.
yeah, but they're not like real
They are real
hurricanes.
hurricanes. Last year a hurricane hit the west coast of Newfoundland and took out houses. And there's this video of this woman I've just sent it to you. She finds her house destroyed, finds her fridge, but when she opens her fridge, there's a case of White Claws waiting for her.
That's fine.
So, you might lose your house, but there'll be some White Claws.
Do you have insurance? Right?
I don't know.
How cold does it get there?
It doesn't get cold like it does up here. Like here.
Is it a lot snow? Is it like there's a lot of snow though
Yeah.
in the winter?
Well, there used to be, like, global warming is a thing now.
Yeah.
So it's really slushy. Like it'll snow, but then it's rainy, and then it'll warm up and it'll get cold again. But like there was a thing back, I think during the pandemic or shortly after it, called Snowmageddon, where like I think it was 6 feet. Maybe I might be lying. I don't know. I wasn't there. Like 6 feet of snow fell. No, absolutely.
Yeah. They don't measure things in feet in Canada, by the way.
When
It's
have you ever
meters.
met a Canadian that measures anything in a meter? You ask anybody from Canada how tall they are. Are they going to tell you that they're like 2 meters?
I don't know.
1.5 meters?
That's what Rhodey always talks about when he writes his lyrics. All the things like are not miles, they're kilometers.
Yeah, kilometers make sense, but like
That's not true.
Meters just
That's not true.
you can't. It's like when you go overseas
Yeah,
and you measure things in stones.
How many meters
No
are
one's
you?
saying that. I'd be like, yeah, I'm like not even a meter, or like I'm just over a meter.
I'm 2 meters.
I'm
Hi, I'm 2
But
meters.
when I'm like, hey, I'm like 4'9", 4'10", how do you turn that into a meter? I don't even know the math. I didn't do well.
In Europe, they just count in centimeters.
I don't like that either.
You don't?
I like feet.
Feet?
I want feet. It makes sense.
You said earlier that you didn't like feet.
I don't like feet themselves, but I like the measurement form of feet. I don't hate feet. I just like appropriate feet.
Yeah, sure. What are the good places in Newfoundland to live? I was looking, and everything seems... It's not a huge island.
No.
Right? So, like...
It is a big island.
But, like, places are pretty close together. Like, to get from... Like, how long does it take to drive from St. John's to Dildo, which are on opposite sides of the island?
That's a lie.
It is?
They're so close to each other. They're like,
but they're like
45 minutes
opposite sides.
No, you're thinking about like the Avalon. The Avalon, like one side of the island to the other would be like Port aux Basques to St. John's, and that would be 12 hours.
12?
Like Dildo to St. Yeah. Can you drive across Michigan in 12?
Yes.
Well, we're bigger than you.
Yeah, but that's just one state. It's just...
Oh, we're like...
I'm getting a map.
You bring it up. Look at Dildo St. John's. 45 minutes, 50, 36 if I have the pedal to the floor.
Do I even have Google Maps on this thing?
What?
Yes, I do.
Do you use Apple Maps? I think
no,
our relationship's
God.
over. Oh, God.
No.
Jesus.
Eesh.
Thank you.
I'm a new Apple person in the last year. I switched
we love
everything
an
Apple.
But we don't love an Apple Maps.
No, they're all
ended
terrible.
Up in the middle of the woods.
They're all terrible. All the Apple apps are terrible for the most part.
Mm-hmm. We need to Google Maps it. We need to Waze it.
Okay, so... So you said from where to where?
Port aux Basques to St. John's.
Okay.
That would be like West Coast.
See, I wasn't counting the whole rest of Newfoundland. I was just counting that one part.
Oh, the Avalon.
Basically, is that what it's called? The Avalon?
That's the Avalon Peninsula.
Yeah, the little thing that comes off Arnold's Cove.
Yeah.
That sticks out.
Yeah,
Okay. But there's no place else in Newfoundland to live. Like, you have to live in that one part, right? The rest of it's just wilderness?
Absolutely. There's no houses.
It's elk and reindeer and moose?
Yeah, and then, like, gander, sometimes there's plains. Then the rest of it is just, like, cottages, cabins. No electricity, no running water. You have to, like, take a bucket and boil to get a bath and stuff. But the only place...
So the people who live, like, in Glovertown... or Glovertown. There's no people there. They have names of towns.
Yeah, they're all abandoned.
Twillingate.
Twillingate does have icebergs. It's where the people live.
Robert's Arm. There's a town called Robert's Arm.
It's just one guy that lives there named Robert.
Yep. So none of those places are real. They're all made up.
Yeah.
But it's 45 minutes from St. John to Dildo.
Yes.
That's not very big.
No.
But there's a lot of towns on the Avalon Peninsula.
Yeah.
Where's the best one to live?
Dildo.
But really?
No. St. John's.
Is it? You got to live in the city?
You got to live in the city. It's terrible. Everything shuts down at like 10. So when you leave St. John's, you go out the bay, is what we call it.
Yeah.
So you're driving out to the bay, and nothing's open past 10. Like, some places don't even have gas stations. Like, a friend of mine was telling me he's a principal on a very small island, and there was only one kid in the school, and he was the only teacher, and so that just made him the principal. But there was no restaurant, there was no gas station, there was no convenience store. It was just this. The family.
Did they even have a
There was
school?
a school.
Like, why not just teach the school? Why not just go to the kid's house?
There was a school, because I guess there was more of a population, but it was one of the communities that they started to resettle. So all those random communities, they resettled them and were like, we'll give you money to leave these communities and go live in a bigger town. And he was stuck on this part of Little Bay Islands, and he was out there. He was the only teacher. He was a principal, and there was one kid in the whole school. So,
yeah. Why are all the names of the places in Newfoundland like dirty?
There's
Spread Eagle, Dildo, Conception Bay, Placenta.
That's Placentia.
So Placenta,
Yeah.
essentially.
But Come by Chance.
Yeah, like why?
There's only two things to do in Newfoundland.
Pirates?
Fuck and fight. So we've decided to name everything after the first one.
Yeah. There's a place called Cupid's.
Yeah. That's where Cupid's from.
Cupid lives there.
He lives there. That's his home. We named it after him.
It's like the equivalent of Santa in the North Pole. Yeah. Like, that's where Cupid hangs out all the rest of the year except for Valentine's.
Yeah, he leaves then. But that's his home. He's always at the gas station. So
if I'm going to move to Newfoundland, I have to move to St. John's.
You have to. Unless you want to be like isolated and you want to live in like a shack.
But if I live someplace isolated, am I going to get internet?
If you Starlink.
No. I need real internet. I need like
hard.
Real internet.
Like, I have friends that live 40 minutes from St. John's, 30 minutes from St. John's, who have to use Starlink.
Okay, then I have to live in the city. I can't live without internet. Like, I need like real internet.
Same.
Okay. I've watched the Mist video 1,000 times. I still don't know what the thing is you say when you get screeched in. I can't. Johnny says it so fast in the thing, like where he's like, here's how we're gonna do it, right? You're gonna say the words and take the thing and kiss the fish and blah 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 blah, and then he says you got to say this, and there's like a few words at the beginning where I'm like, yes, okay, I understand. Though, no. What are the rest of those words? Those aren't words.
Indeed, I is me old cock. Long may your big jib draw.
Yeah. Those aren't words.
Your big jib, like on a sailing ship. Long may your big jib.
Long may your
draw.
big jib.
Yeah.
Draw.
Yeah.
That's it.
You gotta draw the big jib. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We screeched in Hank and Jonah and Michael Kelly. Yeah, we screeched.
You did? How did they like it?
I think Hank just bought a house in Newfoundland. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a great...
seemed like he was...
the best thing is we didn't do anything. We went to my friend's place. My friend owns an incredible restaurant, Piano Anatuka, pizzeria, and she gave us the upstairs as our green room because the upstairs of the rock house is just like a barren land. There's not even walls. So she gave us the green room. And we just hung out there and ate pizza, and she pumped us full of old fashions and espresso martinis. And he didn't see much of St. John's. We walked around a bit, and this man is feral for Newfoundland now. He wants to like
Take
take
several
several
wives?
wives, maybe a husband or
Is that
two, like get a
is that a
dog, get a
Newfoundland thing?
garden. I don't know. I think
Is
he's.
it? Oh, I was gonna
It
say,
could
like,
be.
I don't
We
know.
should start it. I don't know. I'm sure there's. I'm sure there's a sect in Newfoundland where they're like, let's
Yeah,
collect husbands and wives, like brother
I,
husbands and brother wives,
I've,
right? Sister wives.
I'm a very solitary person, but I also really like the idea of like a communal compound. Like,
Hey,
yeah, but on a
when you live in your
compound.
own house and then you just visit
Like,
everybody
there's a
else.
family that lives.
Yeah.
When I was in college, uh, I worked at this little cafe, and next to the cafe is this like Middle Eastern restaurant. And this kid, who's like the son of one of the owners of the restaurant, would come into the cafe all the time, just like, I want to watch your TV, I'm bored, whatever. And his family lives in this gated compound. Like you could drive by it, and everybody sort of knows where it is. And the way that it's set up is there's like a big communal living building in the middle. It's got like a big kitchen and eating and hanging out, TV, blah 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 blah. And then connected to it by hallways are like four individual houses where four different families live.
It's the dream. Hmm. The dream. That is the dream. I want to start a commune. I pitch it to every band I work with. I'm like, let's just start a commune.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I think it
It'd
would be.
be very convenient for everybody involved.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Um.
Protest the compound.
Okay. Protest. We've talked about like Fart Fam from the Discord, like trying to like, should we all like get together and like move in together and all this stuff so we can hang out in real life, because we hang out online all the time and it's stupid and boring, and like we should hang out in real life all the time. And we have like planned trips together and gone, like we all, the first time we all got together in person was for a Wilhelm show. It wasn't even a protest show. Like we all went to Toronto for a Wilhelm show and hung out, and like, yeah, I want to do that. Okay.
Well, what's stopping us?
Societal
Nothing.
norms.
Fuck society. If we wouldn't be where we are if we gave in to the confines of societal norms.
I mean, we might be.
I would be put down. If I gave in, they would take me to the vet and just put me down.
Humans aren't supposed to go to vets. You're supposed to go to doctors.
Oh shit! I've been doing it wrong this whole
Yeah.
time.
But you
Oh,
can get Xanax from a vet.
oh, oh.
Because I got
Well,
Xanax for my dog a long time ago. And then I started having panic attacks. And I was like, oh, we have Xanax for the dog. I'll take that.
how'd that work out for you?
Great. Free Xanax from the dog.
Was it free? It's free. Vets charge way more.
Yeah. No, I mean, they made us go to the actual pharmacy to
Oh,
pick it up.
okay.
Like,
They weren't just handing it
and
out
then
the
I
back
got my
door.
own.
Okay.
Then I got my own Xanax. Now I can get Xanax whenever I need it. I'm an adult. I have
You're a
health
big boy
insurance.
now.
Yeah. Um. So if there's one thing from this tour, the first half, because it's not over,
The tour continues.
right? It's only on a break, a
Yeah,
pre-planned pause.
it's like a Ross and Rachel situation right now.
Yeah, it's good. There's a lot of people who listen to this that won't know that.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, well,
I
that's
run into way too many like 22-year-olds that are like, "Oh, I just found out about protest a year ago." Yeah.
oh.
I feel it makes me feel real old and often kind of creepy. But so if there's one thing from the first half that was like, this is the defining thing that happened. What is your like? What's the
Uh,
thing that's gonna stick with you?
Watching, I'm gonna be serious. I'm gonna be a normal human. Watching kids across America scream the lyrics to Mist and have people come up, like the couple at the Detroit show that came up to us and gave us the screech and be like, we just went to
Yep.
Newfoundland because of this song. Having these people scream, "Yes, I'd be a Newfoundlander," and scream like Johnny and the Boys, and I'm like, this is about my friend group. This is about us. This is about what we did in Newfoundland. Like mostly Johnny. I was just there to like go buy chips and take pictures, but like I'm the
Mostly
boss.
Johnny.
I'm the boss. It's been decided. Um, Watching these kids scream it, and I filmed it every single night. And there were some nights over others that like there was nights Cheese was in the crowd with them singing it. There were nights where like there was people crying. In LA, a guy. This tells you how small Newfoundland, but it isn't. I was coming around the corner of the venue in LA, which was scary enough as itself.
Yes.
I was a
Yes.
lone woman
I'm
walking the
aware of the
streets. I was
venue.
like, I'm wearing Crocs and sipping my
Yes.
little Starbucks. I'm like, I don't belong here. Like
Uh,
I'm not Kansas anymore, Mama. And I
no.
saw a guy and he had a Newfoundland shirt, and I just stopped and I was like, "Are you from home?" He's like, "Are you from home?" Where else in the world can you say that sentence and someone know that you're talking about Newfoundland? When you
Right.
like, there's nowhere else you could ever like say that.
Yeah.
Even if you're in Italy and you find another Italian, they're not gonna be like, "Are you from home?" I don't know Italian accent, but like, it
Yeah.
was so freaking cool to have that and see the what the guys have done for Newfoundland in itself and our scene. Like I talked about before, how they were between them, the Flats, Cancer Bats, Monine, like they were some of the early bands that adopted us and Alexa on Fire. Um, to see the impact that it's had across the world, and like the story goes, like the place that went the most feral for the song was when they were in Asia, and these kids were just like screaming it, and like it
Yeah.
blew my mind to see it, and seeing it at home was really special too. Like I body surfed a shit ton for the first time in like 15 years. I was like, I want this view. I need to feel what they're feeling. So like that would be like the defining moment of watching Miss be played. And I think it was, I'm put on this tour because this was the perfect moment for me to join the protest family in this regard. Like I had to
Yeah.
save my money and sign some contracts, some NDAs. Finally, I get to be here, but I think it's the most appropriate tour for me to be on,
Yeah.
because every night when Cheese would sing Johnny and the Boys, we'd fist bump, and then when they were screaming "Yes, I be a Newfoundlander," I filmed it all and just got emotional as hell. It was cute. It was so
That's
cool.
so great. I think that's the like that was one of the things. Like Mist was one of the first protest songs that I heard. Like I came on to protest during Volition. Like that was my sort of thing. I missed the uh I missed like everything before that. Obviously I went back to it, but like Volition is
Yeah,
my protest record. It's the one that means the most to me, and Mist, and then like seeing the video and it, like
yeah,
it's very personal, right? You don't get that level of personal
no,
with a lot of musicians or artists or anything. Like it is super personal, and that is that's why that song means so much to me. It's why, and like I don't know anything about Newfoundland, but
yeah.
like it makes me want to. It makes me want to go there and live there and be a part of something that is so great and so meaningful to them. And like, yeah, it's very powerful. And I can only imagine like what that would be like for somebody from there who's been involved in this from the
Like I have
beginning.
no
And like,
feelings. I don't
that's yeah,
actually.
it's
They don't
incredible.
exist. And I had some like something. I was like, what are happening in my eyes? Like, why is my throat tight? Like
Yeah,
what's happening to me right now? It was really really cool. Like that whole scene, and to be able to see it again, and like now the Toronto show, which you'll be coming to see all of the people up here in the new city that I live in
yeah,
sing this back, and that was my big takeaway. Like there's so many fun memories and people, and like I got to know a lot of, because I hadn't met anyone in the band that was new. Like I had never met HK or Ben or Hank,
yeah.
and like I immediately assimilated just like I did with the rest of the guys, and
Right.
having Luke in Newfoundland this time, like Luke
Yeah.
came with us, which was so cool. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, you
I
missed
saw that. I was like,
out.
Luke's there.
You had some fun times. But yeah, that would be the
Uh,
ultimate, like, I reliving it. Like, I just sit down and I still, like, I'm editing the videos and I'll just start watching the missed videos from every night. and be like, this is the coolest.
That's so great. I'm super jealous.
You should be.
Super duper jealous. Super jealous of you. Super jealous that you got to go and have all these cool experiences, and also like meeting Ben and HK and Hank for the first time. I remember that and how great it was. Like, they're the nicest guys. That just the sweetest people.
So supportive.
Kindest.
So supportive. I'm
right?
Just like,
right?
It's daunting. Like, I've been an old road dog. I've been in this industry long enough that like being a woman in the industry doesn't really affect me. But I came in and they didn't know me, and I was just this tiny little yappy photo short human, and I was like, how are they going to take me? How are they going to love me? Like, are they going to treat me the same way the guys do, or are they going to be like, all right? And my favorite photo from tour is last night when we all went dancing, and it's me and HK just sat on that little couch, and I'm passed out face forward, and he's passed out on my shoulder, and I was like, that describes it. Like, I started, like, you start off as being so cordial, and being like, oh, it's so nice to meet you, and then by the end of it, you're face down in your tits, passed out, leaned on your new best friend. Like, it just, I felt so comfortable. There was not one moment that I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't feel comfortable. I felt immediately like they would take anybody out for me if I needed them to, and they were protective, and it was just so nice.
Yeah, they're great. This has been the like weirdest whirlwind thing of my adult life since 2021, when Rhodey and I started hanging out, becoming friendly online, to get to the point where like I can call these guys my friends, and fucking bananas, but they're just the nicest fucking people and the most welcoming, and it's amazing. So and now I count you among them. From this whole thing.
I was so excited when I saw you towering, your head was touching the ceiling. And I came up to your knees, I think.
I saw you coming at me, and I was like, well, I'm
a hugger. Let's go.
And it's so good.
I just adorned you in gifts.
Good. Yes. I mean, come on. How wonderful.
I try.
How wonderful. I was not expecting gifts. I wasn't sure if I would see you or not. Like, you're working, and I don't ever want to make assumptions when people are working. Like, I don't ever want to assume that I'm going to end up hanging out backstage or hanging out in the green room or on the bus or whatever, because like these are people's jobs. And like when you're on tour, you're basically working 24 hours a day. You don't get like a lot of time to yourself that's just for you. And so like I never try to, so I never make that assumption, but it was wonderful to see you. And I'm excited for Toronto and London to go to those shows. And I wish I could go to every show. I wish I could do like, like the Deadheads used to do and just like follow the Dead around for an entire summer. Like, I wish I could do that. I would, if I had the financial means to just drop out of my life for a while and do it. But it was a blast seeing you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We should. And you should, you have to end the show with our catchphrase, but you have to direct it at Rhodey, which is you have to tell Rhodey to eat shit and go fuck himself because he's not here. And so he can't defend himself, which is perfect.
Sickness and to ride a roller coaster.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
What was it again?
So you got to tell him to eat shit and go fuck himself.
Okay. Cheese, eat shit and go fuck yourself.
Yes. Perfect.